Hello everybody, my name is Sinkara, and in today's video I have for you a deck profile of 3 sets of the Obelisk the Tormentor structure deck. Unfortunately, I don't have the box to show you because, check it out, I'm back in Auckland. We are back home, back in my apartment, so the video schedule should hopefully correct itself. You know, I've been a bit off and on lately this week. But anyway, not important. Today I am here to show you the Obelisk the Tormentor 3-time structure deck combination. So for this deck, there's a lot of different ways you can build the structure deck, especially with 3 of them. You know, there's a bunch of different cards that are pretty useful for strategies. You could go for a more power type deck using the Bazoo the Soul Eater and Soul Tiger or Photon Tiger, and could the cops shut up? Oh my goodness, it's not even the cops, it's a fire truck. Go away. You done? Okay. So there's a bunch of different strategies with the deck, but the main strategy that I wanted to focus on, because of course it's an Obelisk deck, so I wanted to focus on Obelisk the Tormentor. So this deck is pretty straightforward. It's just summon 3 monsters, tribute for Obelisk, go for game, try not to die. It's a casual deck, probably won't do very well in meta. It could potentially, Obelisk can be quite the threat sometimes if your opponent's not prepared for it, but don't expect to be winning tournaments with this deck. It'll do you in casual games though. So let's get started. We got first 3 Angel 01, Angel 01, Angel 1, whatever you want to call it. This guy is amazing. Okay, I said this in my Egyptian God, the structure deck review, and how to play the Egyptian God structure decks. This guy is phenomenal. We got 3 of him. Not only does he special summon himself, but he also gives you an extra tribute summon if he's been special summoned. Not even by his own effect. If this special summon card is on the field, you can tribute summon a level 7 or higher monster in attack position during your main phase, in addition to your normal summon or set. So that's gonna be like one of the biggest themes in this deck, is getting that extra normal summon for Obelisk. This card is absolutely amazing for that. Special summons and gives you the extra normal summon. It's 2 in 1. It's amazing. This card is brilliant. So 3 Angel 001. Next we got... Did I say 001? I did. I combined it. Anyway, 007. Condemned Witch. We got Condemned Witch. So, with this card's normal summon, you can add a Forbidden Quick Play spell from your deck to your hand, so she searches out your deck. Also, something I forgot to mention in the How to Play video was that during your opponent's main phase, you can tribute Condemned Witch to special summon a level 4 fairy monster from your deck, that being your Ra's Disciple. So this card actually has multiple uses, and now I really understand why she was included in the deck. It's for the Ra's Disciple. So this is amazing. Really thins out your deck for 4 cards. It gets 4 cards out of your deck just in 1 card, which obviously makes it quicker to get to Obelisk. So this card is brilliant, and it also, of course, brings out 3 tributes if you summon Ra's Disciple. Just be wary that one of them at least might die. Next we got a Cyber Dragon, special summons itself, pretty straightforward, also 2100 beat stick, and a level 5 for level resist wall, which I'll get to later. And we got 2 Mandragoras, basically does the same thing, except this is a level 4, which means you can normal summon it as well. Also, with Cyber Dragon's effect, it's if only your opponent controls monsters, whereas Mandragora is if your opponent controls more monsters, and you can do it multiple times per turn. So if your opponent has 2 monsters, you can special, and you have none, you can special summon 2 Mandragoras, whereas you would only be able to summon 1 Cyber Dragon, which is why I went for 2 of them instead of just 3 Cyber Dragons. Next we got 2 Gizmek Mikami, the Ferocious Fanged Fortress. This card is in here to search out Obelisk. Unfortunately, without Bazoo the Soul Eater or the other evil swarm, which I forgot the name of, sorry, but without those cards you won't be able to get off his special summoning effect. However, he's only a level 6, so you only need 1 tribute, which is child's play for this deck, let's be real. And he searches out your Obelisk, which is going to be the key thing in this deck, is getting that Obelisk. I often find it very hard to draw Obelisk, though that's probably just due to bad luck. This deck isn't... I mean, it's not built too inconsistently. You should be able to get Obelisk fine enough, but if you want to tinker around with it, try running 3 of these instead of just 2. Go ahead, see what works for you. I mean, everybody is different, and that sentence doesn't work in this one, so never mind, we'll cancel that. Every deck is different, build it your own way. Next we got a Nimble Beaver. This brings out your Nimble Momonga, which obviously brings out 2 more Momongas when it dies. Easy to get 3 tributes out, or at least 2. Gets you 2 of them, and then you double summon for the 3rd. and for Obelisk. Next, obviously, speaking of Obelisk, we got 3 Obelisk the Tormentor. Keep in mind, this bad boy cannot be targeted. He is the strongest Egyptian god in real life. It's very sad, and I hate it. But he can't be targeted. He's 4,000 points. He's a beat stick. This man is absolutely epic. Also, with this deck, very easy to get 2 extra tributes out to use as effect if you wish. Just keep in mind you won't be able to attack the turn that you do so. Next, we got 3 Ra's Disciple. Obviously, very easy to get out 3 tributes. Summon 1, he summons 2 more. A super nimble Mega Hamster to get you out your nimble Mamanga as well. So that is... You can also special summon nimble Beaver, though you won't be able to get off Beaver's effect. Also, keep in mind Beaver summons Mamanga from the deck or graveyard, so you can recycle your Mamangas. Just keep that in mind, it might come up with part of Avarice. So that's the monster lineup, very basic, just special summon things, get Obelisk. It's very good at getting out 3 tributes, and even also quite good at keeping them alive. I quite often just have 5 monsters sitting on the field, waiting to die till I draw my Obelisk. So it's very good at getting out the tributes quickly and efficiently, and keeping them alive because they all recycle themselves for the most part, at least the Mamangas do. And Condemned, which brings Ra's Disciple out. Speaking of recycling, we've got Heart of Avarice, which I'll get to later because that's in the wrong order. So next up we have Divine Evolution. This card's mostly just in there to have it. You can swap it out for something if you want. It's not amazing. It is pretty good though. It turns Obelisk from 4,000 to 5,000, which is great. His effects can't be negated, which is cool, I guess. But it also allows Obelisk to take out 2 monsters per attack, which is pretty awesome. I mean, that is a pretty good effect. But the fact that you need to have Obelisk on the field to actually activate this card just makes it, you know, not as worthwhile to have multiple of it. You only really need 1, and once you use that, you don't need any more. So just the 1 is fine. Again, I would prefer to have Mount of the Bound Creator if it came with the deck, so just keep that in mind. If you have a Mount of the Bound Creator, I would swap it out for Divine Evolution. Like, I would definitely use Mount over this. Mount protects Obelisk more, still deals an extra 1,000 when destroying monsters. Doesn't get that second effect, unfortunately, which is pretty wild, but I would prefer the protection just to keep Obelisk alive is the main thing. So next we got 2 double summons. So the thing about this deck is that it's very easy to get out 3 tributes. It's a lot harder to get out 3 tributes and then normal summon again. So that's why we've included double summon, Soul Crossing, Monarch Stormforth, Angel 01, all these cards that get you your extra tribute summon, your second normal summon, whatever you want to say, to summon Obelisk, as well as get your free tributes out. Again, getting 3 tributes is easy. Summoning Obelisk immediately afterwards is a lot harder. So rather than keeping them alive, I opted to just double summon Obelisk quicker. You only need 2. Again, we have a lot of cards that make up for the lack of a second normal summon in this deck, so only 2 double summons is fine. If you want to swap out a Divine Evolution for a 3rd, be my guest, but 2 works out. With double summon, you can summon Ra's Disciple, he summons 2 more of himself, double summon straight into Obelisk, nice and easy, very quick, very easy to get out Obelisk with this deck. Yes, we got a Fist of Fate, Obelisk special spell card. It's actually pretty good. It's an out to cards like Dragoon. It doesn't target, it negates the card effect and destroys the monster. Nice and easy. Since you need Obelisk on the field, I opted to only have 1 Fist of Fate. You can also take out your opponent's spell and trap cards effectively during the main phase. It's a pretty damn good card. The only problem is that you actually need to have Obelisk on the field, which, while this deck is designed to do, you don't want to draw into Fist of Fate instead of Obelisk, so just 1 Fist of Fate is fine. Next we got Forbidden Chalice, Forbidden Dress, and Forbidden Lance. The Forbidden spells, they all have very useful effects. If you would like, you can swap out the other 2 for 2 more Forbidden Chalices. I would say Chalice is probably the best one. It negates your opponent's card effects. But these definitely all have their uses. Like, they can also be used to protect your monsters. If your opponent's coming at Ra's Disciple with an 1800 attack monster, you can just drop Forbidden Lance. It's a quick play spell, reduce their monster to 1,000 attack points, and then Ra's Disciple survives. So yeah, that does actually come up. It is very useful, especially when you can add both Ra's Disciple and Forbidden Lance with Condemned, which makes it a very useful combo to do. But again, I would recommend side decking your other copies of the Forbidden spells, just to see what your opponent does. If your opponent has a lot of annoying monster effects, you might want Triple Chalice. If your opponent keeps destroying your Obelisk, you might want, well, Obelisk can't be targeted, can he? Okay, so that's annoying, but if they keep destroying something, you might want two or the other, is the point that I am trying to make. But Forbidden Chalice is probably your best bet, so if you would like to have 3 of them instead of 1 of each, then by all means go ahead. I just prefer to have my options. I like to have my options open, but by all means side deck the others. Condemn Witch can add any of them, so you never really have a problem with not getting the one you want. Next up we got a Harpy's Feather, if I can show that. Harpy's Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, both pretty standard cards. This one gets out your 3rd tribute, or can special summon Obelisk, nice and easy. 2 Pots of Avarice. You'll find that it is very easy to get 5 monsters in the graveyard with this deck, especially with the Mamanga going off, and then this card can recycle them. So especially recycle your Mamangas and your Ra's Disciples to get their effects going again. If you have all 6 of them in the graveyard, recycle 2 Mamangas and 3 Disciples, because you can use Beaver's effect to special summon Mamanga from the graveyard. Of course, you can also use Reborn to special summon a Ra's Disciple from your graveyard, so again, pick and choose based on the situation, but generally speaking, if there's nothing else, then that's what you would want to do. Ra's Disciples is also quicker and gets out 3 tributes rather than just 2 like Mamanga does, but still, Pot of Avarice, extremely useful. That's why I have 2 of them. I found that like always comes up. You basically never don't have 5 monsters in your graveyard. It is so easy to get the Avarice off, and draws 2 more cards searching for your Obelisk, so nice and easy. Next, of course, I've spoken about this card in every episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! This month, Soul Crossing. This card is absolutely amazing. I'm glad it came with both decks. Triple Soul Crossing. This card will let you tribute up to 3 of your opponent's monsters to summon Obelisk, and also gives you that extra tribute summon, and also lets you do it during your opponent's turn. So this card's Soul Crossing, absolutely amazing. It has everything we want. The extra normal summon, the tributes, everything. It's an all-in-one. This card is absolutely amazing. You want 3 Soul Crossing in any of these decks that you make. Any Egyptian God deck, triple Soul Crossing, this card is bonkers cool. Next we have a Supply Squad for the extra draw power. Also in this deck, you are very likely to have monsters dying on you like all the time, so Supply Squad is pretty useful, more so than in the Slifer deck. Next we have 2, the Monarch Storm 4th. Again, this is like another double summon. It's easy to special summon 2 monsters out, and then you just need the 3rd, so Soul Crossing is great for that too, but Stormforth can get you that 3rd tribute. Doesn't give you an extra normal summon, unfortunately, so you might want to swap it out for another double summon. Test it out, see how it works for you, see which works best, but I went for 2 of each. So Stormforth, pretty fantastic, tributes your opponent's monsters, which gets rid of all sorts of problems as well. Call of the Haunted brings back an extra tribute and your Obelisk. Remember, he'll die at the end of the turn though. Drowning Mirror Force protects your attributes from dying, and Level Resist Wall lets you swap out your Cyber Dragon, your Gizmek, or even your level 4 monsters for 3 tributes, nice and easy. For level 4 monsters, if a level 4 dies and you know you're going to get to your Obelisk next turn, the 3 tributes you want is a Nimble Mamanga or Nimble Beaver and 2 Angel 01. Just be wary about doing this because Angel 01 is a fantastic card and you do actually want to draw it rather than just special summon it. Even if he special summoned this way, his extra tribute summon effect will go off. He just needs to be special summoned. But you don't need 2 of them is the thing that I'm saying. 1 of them is great, 2 not so much. Just try and get as many monsters out as you can with whatever dies, basically. And yeah, that's the deck. I've also side decked, you can ignore like all of the side decks, it's not important. But this one, however, Gizmek Uka, the Festive Fox of Fecundity, the Festive Fox of Fecundity. Is that how it's said? I think though. What the heck does Fecundity even mean? Somebody define Fecundity. Ariana, put up Fecundity on screen, the definition. Anyway, this card is great. It's great. It's great for a side deck in casual games. If your opponent is running Egyptian gods, this card is fantastic. If not, this card's kind of shit. Yeah. Basically, if your opponent has a divine monster on the field, then with this guy, you'll be able to special summon Obelisk straight from your deck. Just straight up special summon Obelisk. He will die at the end of the turn, but still. Yeah, but if your opponent doesn't have a divine monster, then it's not great. However, something I would like to point out is if you have a Reproducus. So this guy can turn your opponent's monsters into any attribute, that being divine, and then this guy can use, if he's normal or special summon, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon a monster from your hand or deck with the same attribute. So you turn your opponent's monster into divine and then special summon Obelisk straight up off the bat. That's if you have Reproductus. He does not come with a structured deck. Just an extra tip that I thought I would give out. So, that's the Obelisk deck. Now I'll take you into some save changes. No, don't worry about it. Okay, so now we'll give it a test drive and I'll show you what some basic hands look like. Okay, so right off the bat, if we're going second, we draw an extra card, Monster Reborn. Sadly, I have not had much luck with drawing Obelisk, I've got to be honest with you. Unfortunately, it hasn't been that consistent, though it should be. There's like 5 ways to get Obelisk, including just drawing himself, but I just haven't been lucky. Might have been more lucky in real life. But we have several options here nonetheless. So you can go into your Nimble Beaver. Again, it depends on what your opponent does. Nimble Beaver will get you your Nimble Mamanga straight from your deck. And when Nimble Mamanga dies, you get 2 more Mamangas. Or, other option, you could summon Condemned Witch. Condemned Witch will then get you one of your forbidden spells, such as Forbidden Chalice, the best one. And then during your opponent's turn, you contribute this, special summon Ra's Disciple. His effect will special summon 2 more Disciples, and it's a hell of a time. It's a fantastic time. Also, don't forget to set that when you grab it. And also, you can just straight up special summon Evil Swarm Mandragora if your opponent has monsters more than you do. So, just like that, 4 monsters on the field. Easy. You've also got a Reborn to bring back another, and a double summon to go for even more plays if you wanted. So yeah, it's very easy to get the tributes out. All that's left is just drawing Obelisk whenever he comes up eventually. But that's a basic hand, that's one option. And as you can see, just in that wasn't even a fantastic hand, and 5 monsters just like that. Okay, this time we actually do have Obelisk, so that's fantastic. Let's assume we're going second here. Victory. So, easy. Normal Ra's Disciple. Special summon 2 more Disciples from the deck. Or hand. Double summon. If you really want. Stormforth as well. Hell, if your opponent has multiple monsters, you can special summon Mandragora first. Then normal summon Ra's Disciple, bring out 2 more. Then double summon Stormforth. Tribute one of your opponent's monsters. Plus 2 of your monsters, normal summon Obelisk, and then you can use Obelisk's effect. Or you can choose not to, and you still have 2 extra monsters on the field to attack with. But if your opponent's got a whole bunch of monsters that are just really dangerous, tribute 2 monsters, nuke the field. Easy. Brilliant. Brilliant. Obelisk fantastic. You also had Feather Duster to get rid of the spells and traps. You won't be able to attack that turn, but still, that's amazing. Fantastic. Again, another pretty basic hand. This time we've got Gizmek Mikami, which is fantastic. So we can set our Super Nimble Mega Hamster or Nimble Mamanga. Mega Hamster will just basically go into Mamanga. I think in this case, since there is a Mamanga in the hand, I would set the Mamanga, set, call, and dress, and then see how it goes. Presumably your Mamanga dies, and hopefully you're up against a casual deck that won't kill both of your other Mamangas. But even if they do, you got Call of the Haunted waiting. So if they both survive, fantastic, that's great. Draw hopefully into Obelisk, but it's not. Since it's not into Obelisk, we got this bad boy, so we tribute one of these. Again, even if they all die, you got Call of the Haunted and now Reborn. Normal summon Mikami, and then Mikami's effect, you can discard 1 monster, add a monster whose attack equals its own defense. So discard a monster, add Obelisk to your hand, bada bing, bada boom, you now have Obelisk. And fortunately, don't have an extra normal summon this turn. Let's assume this guy survives. Maybe he won't, unfortunately. But, assuming this guy survives... Soul Crossing, even better, just tribute all their monsters, boom, Obelisk. Nice and easy. If we didn't draw Soul Crossing, however, we still have Call of the Haunted and Monster Reborn to bring out your final 2 tributes. And then send everything, go straight into Obelisk, nice and easy. Of course, since we did draw Soul Crossing, we could tribute up to 3 monsters. And if for some bizarre reason you still want to use Obelisk's effect, you got Reborn and Call of the Haunted to bring out 2 more, including this bad boy back to life. Or you can just straight up bring out 2 of them and go for what is that? That's game. That's, if you tributed all of your opponent's monsters, that's 8,150 points of damage. Done. Easy. You can even reduce 600 attack on something if you really want. And cause, not Obelisk, but maybe this guy to not be targeted or destroyed by other card effects, which is great. You won't get game in that case, but still, game. So, there you go. Okay, I'm glad that it ran well on camera. That's like the best it's ever gone, was in those 3 instances. So fantastic. No, okay. Let me be serious. The deck, in all of my testing, did actually go quite well. I just had trouble drawing Obelisk, but every instance this time, I kept drawing Obelisk, except for the first time. But I kept drawing Obelisk. It was fantastic. So this deck works. It runs well. It's a little bit of luck, but all casual decks are. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Obelisk structure deck. Let me just pull that up again for you guys so you can see it if you're still working on it. This is what I built. Again, there are a bunch of different strategies. You could go for a more power-based deck with the Obelisk deck using your Photon Tigers and the other Evil Swarm, Bazoo the Soul Eater, and Drew Gizmex as well as Obelisk. They won't be as efficient in busting out Obelisk himself though, which was the main thing that I wanted to do, was to just summon the Egyptian god. But of course there are other ways to use the deck, but I quite like this one. I think it works. I think it works well. 4,000 attack is pretty hard to beat. 2,000 you can do, like Photon Tiger or the Bazoo or the other Evil Swarm. They are pretty beefy, but, you know, they're not 4,000 attack. 4,000 is pretty insane. It's a huge amount, and he can't be targeted. It's a great card. Obelisk, unfortunately, still can be destroyed by a Raigeki, but still, pretty great. Much better, I would say, than just going for the power deck, so that's why I chose to go for Obelisk. You might have more luck with a power deck, though. Play to your own style. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Nice and quick. I hope, well, kind of nice and quick. Anyway, I'll wrap it up now since we're passing 20 minutes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how you designed your own Obelisk triple structure deck fiasco thing. Whatever. Next week we will be combining both the Obelisk and the Slifer deck, and then after that we'll be combining 3 Obelisk decks with 3 Slifer decks and seeing if we can make the best Slifer Obelisk deck to ever be built out of a structure deck. I could do a lot better with a lot more, to be honest with you, which we'll do more of that next month. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see the Slifer deck, then be sure to subscribe. Actually, no, wait, sorry. If you want to see the combination deck, be sure to subscribe. If you want to see the Slifer deck, click the card above, because I already did that last week. And, yeah, I've said it a lot, but thanks so much for watching. And thanks for all the subs lately as well. That's been great. And until next time, see ya.